Good job, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good? Y'all, man. That's your boy. SZMOVY. My life, sir. Hey, man, it feels immaculate to be back. Um, First and foremost, welcome to the Lust Grid, which is a original self-curated series made by none other than SZMOVY, UI SZMOVY. And I have notes here because I want to make sure that I'm giving you the most effective and the most amplified variation of this transmission. I've done videos off the dome, just speaking to you one on one, but this is much better as I have conceptualized in my mind that having these notes is going to allow me to stay on point and it's going to give you the highest quality and best signal. If you want access to my notes, please go ahead and email me. And as we grow and as the community expands, we will have I'll have extensive breakdowns and extensive protocols on notes that I'll be sending to those who are called. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and get into it, man. The Lust Grid. What is the Lust Grid? And this is a very important topic. And like I said, this is an original series curated extremely by me. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and get into it, man. So, your personal lust grid, the micro prison you built. What is the lust grid? This isn't just about porn. This isn't about a spirit. This is about a spiritual parasite that's been wearing your skin and thinking your thoughts. What you need to come to the realization and acceptance of is that the corporeal form, which is the human form of this vessel, can become influenced by spiritual parasites and energetic parasites and energetic entities. And these things are inherently evil. They are just light forms or thought forms looking for energy. And the most destructive one is the lust grid. And we're going to go ahead and get into it and basically decipher, which means to break down why that is. So the lust grid is not just about, a dirty website or a bad habit. It is an energetic system, a self replicating loop installed through trauma, repetition, fantasy. I want you to pay very close attention to that term, fantasy, and memory. Okay, as you know, memory is a huge thing in this third dimensional realm and just in this Akashic and quantum game. Your memory is everything. And if there's something that you don't know and that you know now is that your seminal fluid, which you call the nut or we call semen, has all your DNA memory, has all your codes, has your entire lifetime timelines. And once you realize and can conceptualize that, you'll realize why these entities and these parasites want that, because it's not just light force, it's DNA, it's codes, it's memory, and they can, hijack that and use that for their own means. Repetition. Remember that term. This isn't about SEX. This isn't about, it's about power. The power you've been giving away without even realizing it. I tell you all the time. From past videos, from my original content, SZMOVY, now that it is exclusively here, broken away from my music, it's all separate. Your life force energy, as I just mentioned, is the building blocks of everything. The life force energy, the way I can look at it as well, is a piece of also your imagination, because when you ejaculate and release, that seminal fluid has the potential to create life. But that same seminal fluid, when it is transmuted and sent up through your spinal column, as they call the kundalini rising, the phoenix rising, it crystallizes the Christos. It allows you to create and bring things from your imagination into fruition. It is, in my eyes, the building blocks of everything that you see in this realm. So it's like that power is not something that's just, oh, I'm just busting. Like, it's much deeper than that. Okay, so it's the invisible algorithm that watches you, studies you, and adapts to your every click, thought, and wound. Um, Look at the lust grid and your own personal lust grid as something that is like an algorithm, and it learned every aspect of you. So it's like the more you study and the more you observe and become the observer, the more you're gonna realize, oh dang, okay, that's a trigger. Oh dang, okay, that's an urge. But like I'm trying to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You have just been um you learned something, you learned a program that you thought was natural because they told us growing up, like, oh yeah, you know what I mean, just going ahead and but there's a cost. You might think it's free, you might think it's just puberty and growing up, but it's much deeper than that, because this the lust grid is the most is like the most destructive grid, because you're giving away your DNA, your memory, your light codes, your timeline, and your means of expression in a climax, which is the energetic signature, and we'll get there. The lust grid, it is a loop, not a moment. This whole realm, this whole reality is based on loops, habits, and repetition. Loops, habits, and repetition. Loops, habits, and repetition. Where you repeat and what you do is encoded and downloaded in your subconscious and conscious mind. From there, your subconscious mind is going to do everything in its power to bring it into fruition. So if you're dealing with this loop of pornographic loop, of a meaningless sex loop, you're going to always think it's just a natural habit. But when you begin to try to break free, don't get angry at yourself when the urge comes back, because all it is just the subconscious mind is, okay, he's thinking of something different. He or she is breaking free from it. But since our subconscious mind plays back what the echoes of yesterday, when you see that resistance or you see that contrast, don't beat yourself up. It's just showing up because that's what you've been doing. 5 years, 10 years, God forbid, 20, 30, 40 plus years. But it's true. There's some people in their 40s, 50s, 60s still dealing with lockdown in their lust grid. Feeds on your suppressed emotions, shame, guilt, fantasy, and isolation. I want to tell you guys something very important. Fantasy, fantasizing about sleeping with someone, being with someone, and just fantasizing about, pleasing yourself, you are still leaking. You are still opening up your auric field, your vessel, to these entities. So you don't have to inherently sleep with somebody. You don't have to inherently watch the pornographic content and ejaculate. Just by fantasizing about it, it simulates the same thing, because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and a fantasized or imagined thought. So be very mindful that these entities and energies can still feed off of that, and you will still leak. So be very mindful. I tell you guys, it's not about like having access to this person, having access to that person, having access to this some information that's going to change. It's about your attention. Where your attention flows, energy grows. So what you think about, fantasize about, feel about, it sends energy towards it. So be very mindful of what you're focusing on in your feeling states, especially when you fantasize about the lust grid, your lust grid, and things of a lust finish. Because like I said, there's nothing wrong with the lower self. There's nothing wrong with SES. There's nothing wrong with intercourse. But in this matrix and where we're at now, it's being weaponized to destroy you at every single angle. But at a basic level, it is the building blocks to bring back souls. Intercourse is the act utilized to bring back a soul. That's it. There's nothing more to it. But don't allow it to weaponize you. Okay? It's built through thoughts. I mean, it's built through a response of rituals, scrolling, searching, scripting, and yeah, scripting and staring. So, as I said, and kind of going back to isolation, I tell you guys all the time, it mimics something real. So, like, a lot of you guys, like, when I mention trauma and when I mention memory, a lot of you guys and women, excuse me, were introduced by the entity at a very young age by what idol? You were alone. You were curious. You heard about it. Girls were talking about it at school. Boys were talking at school. Summer camp. Vacation Bible school. Oh, church. It would just brought up me like, huh, what are they talking about? Okay, you're by yourself. Isolation. I wonder. Boom. Now, that isolated moment, you're not realizing that triggers and has triggered the urge up until now. From that one moment, you opened up that portal. Okay, feels personal, like you're tied, but it is really a programmed profile. I tell you guys all the time, there's nothing wrong with intercourse. There's nothing wrong with that quote unquote term, but it has been weaponized and they have given it a profile. That's why when you go onto these websites, there's what? Categories. There's what? Profiles. Oh, what's your type? And you think it's just a natural thing, but it's deeply embedded and it's creating a neurological pathway and is firing off neurotransmitters, which is simulating the real deal. Simulating, and you think that you're, getting off, but it's not it. It's not it. Because it leaves you depleted. It leaves you empty. If this wasn't so bad, why do you feel empty? Why do you feel gone? Why do you feel withdrawn once you perform the act and you don't feel like your true self? We are naturally high vibrational. We are naturally supposed to feel good, but we have been hijacked on an emotional level, spiritual level, and mental level. So these videos and these codes are here to resurrect, as they say, Christ resurrect. I'm not trying to get too deep, but to help resurrect what you truly are, who you truly are to be. Okay? You think it is your taste, but it is a trap customized from your trauma. Okay? Your personal lust grid, your micro prison. You don't just have a lust loop, you have a lust signature. I'm going to break this down in a more deeper level, but to touch on it real quick, a lust signature. Every time you ejaculate, women, every time you let loose, cream, all that stuff, you are letting out an energetic signature that pings incubi, succubi, parasitical entities, energetic entities, and thought forms. And like I told you guys, in nature, in the basics of, of the astral realm and just of the unseen realm, these entities literally just want energy. So when you pertain in this act, you are letting off a ping. You are signing and agreeing and consenting, because something you also need to realize, by performing the act, you can tell yourself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to masturbate. I'm not going to watch the websites. I'm not going to just meaninglessly have sex. But by you performing the act unconsciously, that is consenting. Even by saying it, certain gestures, certain positions, you position yourself in bed, certain angles, like it gets deep. And don't get too hard on yourself. That's why I'm here, not as some savior figure, but to help you remember and break free from this, because you have the capability to. That's why you're watching this, because you are tired and no longer want to be subjugated by the lust grid. You want to start building your own grid, which we'll get into. But yeah, to basically land my plane, it is a signature, and you have an energetic signature. So once you let it loose, once you climax, it sends out a ping. Oh, okay, wow, there's huge energy coming from over here. Let's go siphon it. And that was opened up when you're in isolation, when you're 10, like young. So it's trauma based and it's memory. Okay. A custom code energetic pattern made just for you because your memory is unique, your DNA is unique, so they know it. Okay? Every single person has a personal lust grip. Okay? It is tailored to your life, your memories, and your wounds. Built through early exposure to sexual content before emotional maturity. Like I tell you guys all the time, um, it is very key. Like, if the world or if the common person is introducing you to this and you're not guided through like a parent, through an elder, um, it can devastate you because it's not. And like, I would blame society, but at the same time, especially here in the Western world, here in the States, here in America, it's like taboo for parents to talk to their kids about that act. But if there's something I know, at least hopefully, is that I know like one day when I have my family, not anytime soon, but when it does happen, I'm gonna tell my children the importance of what it is and what its true nature is. But a lot of times parents, they're like screaming. There's two things. They're kind of screaming. So they don't want to talk to them. Oh, just they'll tell you about it in school. But then the school is tainted, so then they just get thrown into it. Or what makes it worse is that the parents introduce it to them, but they take them directly into the lust aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Not out of like divine union and stuff like that. Okay, guilt-based religion that demonized desire but never taught transmutation. Like I tell you guys all the time, there's nothing wrong with desire. There is nothing wrong with the act of intercourse, with the act of um, getting to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? But when it is demonized and it is shamed, you build up um, resistance and you build up. You can say, okay, yeah, resistance, but you build up. What word am I looking for? Suppression. And suppression is very bad because the more you suppress, the more you suppress, the more you have guilt, the more you have guilt. You just let it go. And then you start spiraling. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to look this in the eye. You have to be able to see through this and be able to, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't have to do that. Get it and go. Okay, but it's not bad. Having the urge, that feeling is not bad. It's just it's been hijacked and now we're using it in very low vibrational ways, just ways that aren't susceptible for yourself. It's, you know what I mean? So escapist fantasies to survive, rejection, neglect, or heartbreak. So a lot of times, when people don't feel accepted, when people go through heartbreak and certain things of that nature, they go to the websites or they go hit up an old ex or they go, you know, find ways to release that. But you're feeding the lust grid. Um, and yeah, like a sad one is neglect. Like I said, that isolation, you know. Isolation is not inherently bad, but when it's isolation that you're going through and you're utilizing it to feed the lust grid, it can become very destructive. Low self worth that made validation feel like love. That's another huge one. I'm pretty sure you can put two and two together and conceptualize that, but that's another thing that what the lust grid does to a lot of young men and women is that, you know, the low self worth, and the more you indulge in that, your self worth gets weaker, and not even weaker, but your self worth gets much more prevalent. You feel like you're not seen. You feel like you're not worthy. You know, you lose that charisma to talk to someone you feel as though could be your divine one, could be your divine union. You just lose it all. You know what I mean? So, repetition of um, unhealed memories disguised as pleasure. You know, It feels good. You think it's pleasurable, but it's a trap. It's a trick. Your personal lust grid mimics your deepest desires. Like I said, incubi, succubi. These are nothing more than shape shifting entities and thought forms and life forms that look like an attractive woman, that look like an attractive man, and they can come through in your dreams. They can come through the algorithm, and they can also be attached to men and or female who are serving the lust grid. The game is deep, but that's how we're here. We're going to dismantle it and help you break free from it. Okay? But secretly blocks your soul from experiencing true connection. Because like I said, when you are within a divine union, you can utilize intercourse to heal one another. You utilize intercourse to bring back life onto the planet. You utilize intercourse to bring things into reality. But when it is tainted, when it's based into that lust grid, when you're just on the websites pleasing yourself in a way that is just nonsensical, it blocks it, and your soul is now being consumed rather than your soul being filled and fulfilled. Okay, it feels intimate, but it is a simulation designed to keep you energetically leaking, and that leakage, like I said, is what they look for, because the more you leak, your manifestations are diluted. What you're trying to focus on and bring into reality is diluted, because your sacral chakra, your sexual energy, your life force energy is the epitome, is the root, is the key to bringing your manifestations into life. And when it is leaking, for lack of better terms, they got you. We good. But hey, that could have been some entity, you know? Don't put this message out. This message is coming out. This message is coming out. I'm sorry for that. That's just proof. Hey, and real quick, I want you to know, this is literally my third time making this video. The first time I recorded the whole video, it didn't save. When I first started doing it, the computer was glitching out. So I know this needs to come out. And like stuff like that, it just makes me smile, because it's proof that what I'm doing, what we're doing, we're freeing the minds, we're freeing souls, and we're unlocking the young men, because we need, and women. A lot of women are falling victim to the lust grid. You feel what I'm saying? But we're going to break it down intrinsically, and we're going to give you the tools and protocols to outwit this. You think you're in control. Yeah, it operates like a virus. You think you're in control, but you're running code you didn't wire. Think of yourself as a highly advanced computer. Look at yourself, okay, as Windows, but you need to get a upgrade. And if you don't get that upgrade, it's going to be faulty. You know, these thoughts that you have, these urges that you have, these are old, glitchy, old, faulty wiring. And you cannot function at the highest level in which you are called to be when you don't upgrade your system. You are the most highly advanced computer. You are the most highly advanced soul. It's you. It's not just psychological. It is neurological malware. So that virus, that loop, that lustful loop that keeps you away from what you need to be doing and your desires and what you have in your mind and in your heart, it's hijacking your eyes. You're scrolling, you're scanning. Oh, damn, fantasizing. And this one was just, it changed everything for me. Fantasizing about a female, women fantasizing about a male and wanting to sleep with them, and you're infatuated, and you are literally merging with that spirit. And now I call it the slow burn, but you're leaking even there. Because our subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and it doesn't know the difference between something happening to you or you imagining it or fantasizing it. So constantly fantasizing about these things, constantly scrolling, mapping out our mental snapshots, reprograms your sexual baseline. What I just say feeds off your life force, not just your time, but it takes your time too. Okay? rewrites your concept of connection. Why is it that we got all these people, they're in relationships, right? But they're still connected to the lust grid through pornographic content. The porn got them in a chokehold. Married men, married women. And we're going to get into that in different episodes. But think about it. Think about it. Operates in silence, especially when you are alone or emotionally low. Check this out, right? Check this one out. Let's say you had a magnificent day. You know, you seen the fam. You know, you've seen your nieces and nephews. Whatever. Fam, everything is cool. You're alone now. Oh, hey, Johnny. Yeah, you know. Mom's at work. Dad's at work. Why don't you go in the bathroom? Don't. How did he know? Bro. Or for some of you older men. The homies came through, everybody's, you know, boom, boom, boom. The girls at, you're alone now. Well, loop. Am I not keeping it real? You have to recognize it. And when you can recognize and you can name these things, you own it. And then once you own it, you can dismantle it. You have the power. There's a reason why you're watching this video. Am I not lying? Aren't you tired of being drained? Aren't you tired of having low motivation? Aren't you tired of looking at yourself and feeling shameful? I know you are. I know you are. And this is why we're having this video. This is why this is being built, because it's time for you to sit at your throne. It does not ask for permission. It just needs your repetition. There's power in what did Napoleon Hill say in Outwit and the Devil? There's power in repetition. The more you do something, the more you rehearse something, the more you, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm about to give you a cheat code. The more you relax in your bed, you got your phone in your hand, got your phone in your left hand, got your phone, your right hand on your thigh, you're starting to, you know, hands going to the pelvic. Stop. That's initiation. That's a signal. It's subtle. Ooh, it feels good. No. Every time you say just one more scroll. Yeah, so this is how it updates the code. So repetition updates the code. Your subconscious mind. Okay. Oh, okay. So even if you quit, it's going to remember. Oh, when John leaves, when mom and dad go to work, or when such and such thing happens and you're alone now, this is my cue. This is your cue. So your mind is not evil. It's running on code. It's a loop, but you have the capability to break it. So once you can break it, you're going to be like, hold on. Why am I going to this? Wait. No. Let's try something else. Let's do something else. And I don't want people to think like, yeah, just find a new distraction. It's not about distracting yourself. It's about having purpose, and it's about being driven and wanting something better for your life. Okay? Bettering yourself is not a distraction. But feeding the lust grid, whoo, that's not only a distraction, but it is selling and taking your life force. Every time you say just one more scroll, you're giving it a software update, a stronger hold, more access, more connectivity. The illusion of desire. When you think, when you think it is pleasure, it is often resolved pain in disguise. That's why I always tell you guys, like, I don't like make fun of people anymore, but like a lot of times, a lot of men and even women, you're addicted to the websites and you're addicted to meaningless intercourse because you're actually hurting inside. And I want you to realize that feeding that is only going to bring you more sadness. Feeding that is only going to make you more empty. Feeding that is only going to make you more hollow. And that's why I tell like people, it's like the lust grid to me is a pandemic. It's an epidemic because it's like there's so many millions of souls on this planet who feel empty and feel unfulfilled. And then when I do my independent research and I talk to these people, the biggest culprit, I'm on the websites. I'm just meaninglessly just smashing anything and everything. Most people believe these fantasies are self chosen, but in reality, your kinks are often to traumas, not authentic desire. Your fetishes, often distortions of neglected emotional needs. Your pleasure patterns, often survival strategies dressed up as, yeah, as them, as thrill, excuse me. The lust grid mimics the frequency of connection. Like I told y'all, right? It feels good. Ooh. This is a tricky one. This is where it gets tricky. You know what I mean? It's pay week. I felt good. And then that voice, hey, why don't you celebrate and just, you know what I mean? Just, real quick. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Or what's worse, you had a bad day. You feel unseen. You know what? I want to feel good. I want to feel good about myself. I want to shame, guilt. Don't do it. That's how it, you know what I mean? It gets in there. You know what I'm saying? No, 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 no. It is a hologram. It gives you a high, then robs you of meaning. It gives you a high, then robs you of meaning. Why is it every time you climax, every time you you ooze, but you lose the light. You lose light force. And I tell you guys, light force energy is liquid crystal. It is your DNA. It is light codes. It is timelines. And these entities need it. They don't mind because they know you and I, we are source. We are the micro. You're gonna hear on the channel a lot. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. Okay, we are pure life force energy. They know it. So if they can trick you into thinking, oh, it's just, I'm just checking on, you know what I mean? I'm just busting on this girl. No, you're not. It's not, because if it was just that, why do you feel empty? Why do you feel worthless after? Why do you not feel whole? That's the question. And that's when I was like, dang, it makes sense. Because they don't just rob you of your life force, they rob you of your light. They rob you of your joy. They rob you of your meaning. That's the whole loop. It's loopable. It is the ghost of intimacy, a phantom pretending to love you while draining you from the inside. Okay. Identifying your grid triggers. To dismantle the lust grid, you must become its observer, not its puppet. I tell you guys, the observer effect, when you can observe something and see from the outside looking in, you begin to dismantle and you start to learn its mechanics. Like, okay, I get it now. And check this out. Once you go into observer mode, you'll realize stuff from your past. Like, wait, past. You start to realize strange things that made you want to just stay in your lustful nature and just start going to the websites. Check this out. Correct me if I'm wrong. It'll be something strange. Those Lululemon leggings old girl used to wear, but the certain type, it did something to your mind. Oh man, I'm being serious. You have to identify your triggers. And once you identify the weird ones, the quirky ones, the strange ones, you're like, dang, I was sexualizing everything. And like I tell you guys, there's nothing wrong with these things. This is a part of the matrix, but once you can dismantle it and name it and identify it, you will be liberated. Ask yourself, what does the urge show up as? The urge. Is it after conflict, before bed, during boredom? Think about that. Think about that. And you know, I'm like, I know someone's just like, dang. Does do mirrors become portals after the gym? Do emotions like loneliness or even victory trigger the loop? What I just tell you? Ah, ain't nobody at the crib. Let me. Ah, no. And you know it's true because it's automatic. The second that door closes, then just think, boom, I'm here. I'm just looking for some energy. If you could just, you know, make it happen. Certain bedrooms, certain bathrooms in your home. You know I ain't lying. Or like I said, victory. Man, check just hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel good. Oh, I feel good. Or you got an A on your test, Johnny. I got an A on my test. Why do you feel like you have to go drain your energy? You don't have to. Alchemize it. Send it somewhere else. But this is what it is. And I'm like, dang, that is so true. And it's so simple once you, like I said, once you realize it, you're like, oh my gosh. Like, this has been happening all my life. The trap survives on your unconscious habits. Okay, naming your pattern is step one. Owning it is step two. Collapsing it. Okay, that is the real power. Trace it back to the moment, to its memory, and to the first spark that ever let the loop begin. That lit the loop. It's just a loop. You feel me? It is just a loop. You built it, you can dismantle it. The lust grid does not. Yeah, the lust grid did not build itself. Like I tell you guys all the time. Everybody has a personal lust grid, and like I tell you, it will be the strength. Like once you start, once you go get into observer mode, you're gonna realize like, holy cow, like the weirdest things aroused me, and we're so unconscious to it because we live in a realm where like everything is kind of micro designed to keep us like degraded, okay? And that degradation thus becomes fuel for entities, and those entities can live off of your life force energy. And like I said, you can leak off of just fantasizing. You're infatuated with, thinking about old girl, thinking about old boy, thinking about a certain celebrity. You're leaking, but I ain't sleep with them. It doesn't matter. But I didn't, watch the websites. It doesn't matter. Because I always tell people all the time, it's not about having more information. It's not about having access to like gurus and money. What are you focused on? It's sad, but I would say 85 to 95% of a lot of, especially individuals like our age, 20s, our mind is infatuated with lust, is infatuated with the lower nature, which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. But once you realize, like, holy cow, I'm spending so much energy in my lower self. I haven't risen up to my crown. I haven't risen up to the pinnacle. I'm not creating anything. And it doesn't have to be anything extravagant. I'm not creating new experiences. You don't need finances to go to a different park, to go explore a different gym. And if that's not your, just go out to a different restaurant. It could be anything else, but you're not creating new experiences. You're staying and you're dwelling in your lower Sephiroth, in the lust grid, and you're feeding it. You can collapse it. You're not broken. I'm telling you, you're not broken. You are programmed. The loop is not eternal. It's just uninterrupted. Are you going to break it? Are you going to break it? Okay? Think of it like this, right? Say you're wearing pants and the pants got a hole in it and you're putting money in your pocket and you're getting angry because you're losing money. Are you going to change the pants and break the loop? How simple is that? How simple is that? You're not a prisoner, you're a participant. The first step, like I tell you guys all the time, it's awareness. The next is transmutation. The goal is energetic sovereignty. This is not about suppression, because when you suppress it, one day, pretty soon, you're just going to explode and just start going crazy. It's not about suppressing. It's about recognizing, looking it in the face and being like, look, I've trained myself so deeply now when I'm at the gym, wherever. If I see a female, that's a female. That's the anatomy of a body. If I'm at the gym and she's kind of wearing, sometimes you be at the gym like, oh, okay. But it's like, I've trained myself to realize that is just the anatomy of a woman. What I do with it is what I do with it, but I'm not gonna, because unconscious days, oh man, look at that. You go in the bathroom and you go, do the do. Come on, bro. You are a god/goddess being who forgot your original software. I'm not a. Yes, you are. And think about this, right? This messed me up. The Matrix wants to call us young men YNs. The Matrix wants to call women whores. The Matrix wants to call us just everything that's degrading. But the second I call you a god, the second I call you a goddess, the second I call you a queen, the second I call you a king, there's something wrong with that. No, it's programming. And our subconscious mind deals with everything in the now. So once you realize that what you're saying to yourself, you're casting a reality, you're casting a spell on yourself, you're going to realize that, holy cow, like, I can do better than this. The lust grid is just one virus in your spiritual operating system. But now that you have the awareness to wake up from it, okay? And the moment you withdraw your participation, the grid begins to starve. I'd like to thank you for joining me on episode 1 of the lust grid. Like I tell you guys, there's a lust grid, your personal lust grid, and there's a collective. Next, we're going to be getting into the collective lust grid, and it's going to be a more deeper breakdown on how the infrastructure of the Matrix created a collective lust grid that everybody fed into it. Everybody, even animal, everybody is fed into it. And identifying this is going to allow us to dismantle it, and it's going to allow us to break free because, like I tell you guys all the time, if you don't know what you're dealing with, and if you can't identify what it is that you're going to stay in the loop. Like I said, you're going to think it's natural. You're going to think it's normal. You're going to think like, well, this is what we do all the time when we're alone. This is just what I do when I get, good grades or something good. Loop. The subconscious mind, I'm going to say this, I'm going to let you go. The subconscious mind echoes back 95% of what you did yesterday. So if all you did yesterday was contrary to what you want to do today, it's just going to come up again. So it's not that it's evil. It's not that, why? All your life, you've been fed that it's natural to do these things. It's okay to think of yourself lowly. It's okay to be lesser than. No. Remember, it is a loop. And once you break free from the lust grid, you begin to build your grid, which I'm going to show you how to. You feel me? Like I said, I'm not a god. Like, mind you, we are evidence of gods and goddesses, the God source. But I don't want you to look at me as some like mystical being and I'm not here to save nobody. I'm not a savior. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a guru. I'm none of that. I remembered who I am as a product of source in this realm. And I'm helping you remember who you are. That's it. We're dismantling the lust grid. We're unlocking our subconscious mind and we're activating to who we truly are. That's it. That's it. And we're having fun with it. So, without further ado, thank you so much for joining and watching the first installment of the Lust Grid. Real quick, if you speak Espanol, Spanish, and or Mandarin Chinese, please email me and contact me. I'll be below. You have full reign and full right to remake this video in your language, as I'm going to be branching out into a multilinguistic platform. So if that is something you feel called to and you're serious and you're actually wanting to become sovereign and be energetic sovereign, please hit me up. Let's work, let's collaborate, and we're going to be freeing millions of men and even women who are dealing with this one view at a time. Without further ado, it's been your boy Smooth Bay, my live Smooth Bay UI baby. We out. Chill.